Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Alrighty, good Friday afternoon, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro, just checking back in here with another update on the roadway conditions here across our area. So we certainly had a very icy morning with the freezing rain moving through. There is still some ice that's left over out there right now too, but we are definitely in better shape than we were even just a few hours ago this morning. I also brought you another update on this live stream at 10:30 this morning too. So even in the 2 hours that have elapsed since then, things have certainly been getting a little bit better. We'll take a look here at downtown Saginaw. This is live from the Dow right now. You can certainly see the icy conditions that we do have. You can actually kind of see on the trees there along Johnson Street in front of the Dow. They kind of have that sort of gray or whitish hue to them. That's the ice that's actually built up on the tree branches too. So that is creating some icicles. Kind of a cool sight to see if you like to take winter photography. Those would actually be some cool things to take a picture of here. But in regard to the ice on the roadways, some less traveled areas are still going to be icy right now. So parking lots, sidewalks, and a lot of residential streets as well, but more mainly traveled roads, those are improving. You can even see those cars that have driven by there right now on Johnson Street, definitely driving by at a much more normal speed than what we were seeing compared to earlier this morning. So from here, road conditions should really just continue to get better, especially as more of those road treatments are being put down. And also with temperatures that are coming up to freezing. In some areas too, those temps are even just slightly above freezing as well. So it's all working out just enough to be able to help to melt any of that ice that we still have remaining here as of this point. I'll go ahead and take you over to our weather graphics. First, we're going to take a look at the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler. And you can see here on the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, we still have some rain as of right now, some freezing rain specifically, but what we have on the radar is the last of what we're expecting for today. So some areas like Mount Pleasant, you might have a little bit of lingering drizzle, but realistically you're about done as of this point. And even here into the Tri-Cities specifically, so Midland, that rain is starting to wrap up for the most part, but around Bay City and Saginaw, there is still some left. But one cool thing actually that we have had, and I'll go ahead and pause the radar, and we can kind of zoom in on this just a little bit as well. We've actually seen a little bit of lightning out there. So notice this right now on the radar, indicating even a little bit of lightning near the Davison area and Otisville, also near Mount Morris and Montrose. And we've had several reports of a little bit of thunder out there. So no doubt that is what you have been hearing. Really, this is just indicating more that there is some convection going on right now too, which you can have convection even in these colder temperatures like this. Convection is what drives thunderstorms during the summer. Really, just as long as you have the correct dynamics with temperature differences that are large enough across the span of the atmosphere, that's where you can have some of that convection, which results in some of the thunder and also a charge separation as well. So obviously not as common to have thunder in the wintertime, but still something that is not totally impossible when the conditions are just right. But I'll take you back to the radar there again. So we've had a little bit of lightning and some thunder moving through. This freezing rain and snowfall, mostly freezing rain, has actually been making a lot of roads just wet around the Flint area. And that is one thing that I will say there. Out of everybody in Mid-Michigan, Flint has been kind of lucky throughout the daytime to really just have some quieter conditions in regard to the ice. We actually haven't seen much ice at all around Flint. It's been on a much more isolated basis, but around there, those drive times have held together pretty well throughout the morning so far. So from here, we are just going to see this continuing to leave our area. This right here is the First Alert hour by hour at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So notice at 3, the freezing rain is going to be completely done by then. We're still holding on to the cloud coverage though. And then once we go throughout the rest of the evening, we're still just holding on to the cloud coverage, but we should be able to stay dry all the way through the evening and as we go into tonight. And we have a dry day and a much quieter day for tomorrow as well. But Sunday, we do have some rain in the forecast, and that's something we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But for the remainder of the daytime too, these temperatures are going to inch up just above the freezing mark for several hours. So we're talking up till about 6 o'clock this evening. After that, we'll fall back down to about 30 or even 29 for tonight. We aren't expecting a very large cool down for tonight, so that 30 or 29 that comes in near midnight, that is actually about the coldest that we'll be getting for tonight. But that does mean untreated roadways could turn slick or icy again as we go into the overnight time frame. But even right now, you see this wider look here at our temperatures. 32 in Saginaw and Flint, 34 in Lapeer. We also have 34 in Mount Pleasant. So some of those areas with temperatures like that are going to see those road conditions just continuing to improve even more. Even right now, the First Alert traffic map, while it still does have some slick and slower areas, it is looking far better than it did earlier this morning. So definitely seeing some improvement. The Zilwaukee Bridge is back open. We're seeing a lot of these drive times starting to pick back up as well. Into our northern counties, we still have some slick travel, especially around West Branch, Rose City, Hale, and Whittemore. But we should see those conditions improving a little bit more throughout the afternoon as well. For there, it may take a little bit longer than, say, Saginaw, for example, but I still think even by about 3 this afternoon, some spots like West Branch or Whittemore should definitely see those drive times improving. And there's that traffic map around Genesee County as well. Looks like it's slightly slower between downtown Flint, or you can even say Dort Highway, and M15 as of right now. So in those areas, we still do have a little bit of slower travel, but certainly not quite as slow as what we saw earlier this morning around the Saginaw area, for example. It does look like we have a couple of comments here coming in as well. So Jennifer Couch reporting thunder and hail in Vassar. Thank you for the report. We have Janice Cook reporting thunder and hail in Davison as well. And I'll take you back to the radar too, especially around the Davison area. You can certainly see where we do have some of that heavier rain and that we do have that lightning coming in on the radar. So I'll bring this in a little bit closer for the Davison area. Pretty much all up M15 from Davison to Otisville, you're going to be able to hear some of that thunder with the lightning moving through. So not tracking severe weather, of course, for today, at least technically severe weather like we would track during the summertime, but still the thunder is definitely something kind of interesting to hear on a winter day like today. But again, we should be able to see some of these conditions improving, and we have Caleb commenting that he has freezing rain in Adrian, Michigan, so farther south in the state as well. And that is also going to be something that is worth mentioning here, actually. So if you do have some travel plans, which we have been saying that if you didn't have anywhere to go this morning, it was better to stay in. Now, once the freezing rain leaves, I will say with this that if you have some travel out of our area towards Brighton or Ann Arbor or Metro Detroit, it's still going to be a little bit icy in those areas, even into the afternoon, but later into the day today, we should see those conditions improving as well. But this freezing rain is something that has impacted a lot of mid-Michigan, rather the lower peninsula even specifically throughout the daytime today. So this freezing rain, certainly something that has been impactful. We have had this First Alert Weather Day in place since Tuesday. So we've been tracking the system for you all the way since Tuesday, and so far it's been playing out as we've been expecting with the freezing rain. But again, from here, quieter night ahead of us, quieter day for tomorrow. We could see some active weather picking up again on Sunday, though, as we close out the weekend. But the next week, the big story for next week is that we will be turning even colder. So we'll take a quick break here real quick, and when we come back from the break, we'll talk more about that extended forecast. Alrighty, welcome back from that break. So we were mentioning right before the break how we do have some quieter weather as we go into the upcoming weekend, at least for tomorrow. On Sunday, though, we should see potentially some active weather picking back up once again. But I do want to highlight this here in the forecast. We do have another system that should move through Sunday into Monday. Now, there doesn't appear to be as much of a freezing rain threat this time around with that system. In fact, it should actually just be straight up rainfall on Sunday, especially with temps approaching 40 degrees. Sort of the caveat here, though, for Sunday is that 40-degree high that's listed actually comes in right at sundown, technically, because we'll continue to warm up as we go into the overnight. In fact, we could actually see some mid to upper 40s for a couple of hours during the middle of Sunday night, but then the cold front moves in. That should be here just before sunrise on Monday. And that is going to allow temperatures to fall down pretty quickly as we go throughout the day on Monday. So most of the day there should actually be spent in the 20s. That also means a changeover from rain to snow showers, but that should be, again, more of a sharper change from rain to snow, so not really a freezing rain threat with that on Monday morning. But the snow showers that take over, they'll be coming in from the west side of the state, so kind of an enhanced lake effect. Also a windy day, so I do want to give you that first alert right now that some of those road conditions could be turning slick on Monday as well. But that system at the end of the weekend, that is going to be setting us up for a colder week next week. So we'll see highs into the 20s pretty much every day for next week. We'll be ringing in the new year, no doubt, with some colder weather. Those conditions for next week, I'd say you could sort of compare them to what we had at the beginning of this month. So if you remember at the beginning of December, we started off with that stretch of not only below freezing weather, but also below average for this time of year. And even those temps next week in the 20s are technically below average as well. But we should be turning back to more of that true wintry pattern for next week, which for ice fishers, that's definitely some good news for next week. As far as snowmobiling and skiing goes, we'll have to wait and see with some of that snowfall for sure. I think it's still going to be a bit of an uphill battle for the snow, but at least that colder weather does start to put us back into that right direction once again. But really, that is going to be the big story for next week in regard to those weather conditions, is that we'll just be turning colder and we have more of those 20s on the way as well. I do want to show you the traffic map, though, one last time here before we sign out from this live stream. So again, drive times have been improving. It's still far from perfect right now, but it's definitely much better than even just a couple of hours ago. So on the First Alert traffic map, most of the issues that we're seeing at this point look to be pretty much between the Munger, Caro, and Vassar and Reese areas, and then also into the Thumb around Bad Axe, between Bad Axe and Kindy, and Port Austin, and even around the Ubley and Argyle areas too. And then we do have some icy travel in our northern counties, but main roads should continue to improve. We've actually seen quite a bit of activity from the MDOT plows and salt trucks throughout the morning here. So more of those road treatments are being put down, and it does look like travel is slowed down a little bit between M15 and Dordt Highway, also including the Irish Road area there near Davison. So just something to keep in mind if you'll be traveling through there soon. Have a report from Cherry as well in the comments here that it stopped raining in Gladwin. Certainly should be the case there now in Gladwin too. So yeah, things are starting to wind down from here. Yep, you can definitely see that there on the radar. May have a couple of straggling showers towards about 1 or 2 o'clock today, but really by 3 p.m. we should have this activity completely done here across mid-Michigan. Well, if you do have anywhere to go for the rest of this Friday, just again, you'll have to factor in some extra time for that drive. Certainly take it easy out there, especially some left-hand turn lanes and some elevated roads like some bridges may still be a little bit icy. But I do think from here, road conditions will definitely be better than earlier this morning. Well, drive safely if you do have to head anywhere. We hope that you have a great remainder of your Friday afternoon. Check back in on the live stream here, 9 o'clock this evening. First Alert meteorologist Stone Schaefer will be here again with another update on our conditions. He'll be able to talk more on the weekend as well. If we don't see you then, well, we hope that you have a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.